So OpenAI just dropped another bombshell, and this time it's teaming up with Broadcom to build a whole new generation of AI hardware. Not just using chips from other companies like Nvidia or AMD anymore, OpenAI is actually designing its own custom AI processors. The announcement came out of San Francisco and Palo Alto on October 13th, 2025. Basically, OpenAI and Broadcom are launching a multi-year collaboration to deploy an absolutely massive 10 gigawatts of custom AI accelerators. That's a mind-blowing amount of computing power, enough electricity to cover more than 8 million US homes, or roughly 5 times what the Hoover Dam generates. The rollout starts in the second half of 2026 and is expected to wrap up by the end of 2029. Broadcom's going to be the one developing and deploying racks full of these custom accelerators and networking systems, all based on OpenAI's designs. The hardware itself will be scaled entirely with Ethernet and connectivity solutions from Broadcom. No proprietary lock-in like Nvidia's InfiniBand, which is a pretty bold move. Now, the idea here is that OpenAI is taking what it's learned from years of building frontier models and products like ChatGPT and baking all that knowledge directly into the hardware. So instead of relying only on third-party chips, they can optimize every layer, from model to silicon. Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, said this is a critical step toward building the infrastructure needed to unlock AI's full potential, not just for OpenAI, but for people and businesses around the world. Greg Brockman, OpenAI's president, added that designing their own accelerators lets them embed what they've learned and unlock new levels of capability and intelligence. On the Broadcom side, CEO Hock Tan called the collaboration a pivotal moment in the pursuit of artificial general intelligence. He said OpenAI has been leading the AI revolution ever since the ChatGPT moment, and that co-developing 10 gigawatts worth of accelerators and network systems will help pave the way to the future of AI. Charlie Kawas, who heads Broadcom's Semiconductor Solutions Group, explained that these custom accelerators will pair with Ethernet scale-up and scale-out networking to create cost and performance-optimized next-gen AI infrastructure. The racks will feature Broadcom's full range of Ethernet, PCIe, and optical connectivity solutions, basically an end-to-end stack designed for AI. Financial details of the deal weren't disclosed, but analysts are already calling this one of the biggest hardware pushes in AI history. To give you a sense of scale, Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang said that a 1 gigawatt data center could cost somewhere between $50 and $60 billion. And since OpenAI is talking about 10 gigawatts here, that's potentially $500 billion in total build-out. Of course, that doesn't mean OpenAI's footing all that alone. Industry experts think they'll fund it through a mix of new rounds, pre-orders, strategic investments, support from Microsoft, and even credit facilities tied to future revenue. And this deal with Broadcom doesn't exist in a vacuum. Just last week, OpenAI announced a 6-gigawatt chip supply deal with AMD that includes an option to buy a stake in the company. Nvidia, meanwhile, said it plans to invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI and provide data center systems capable of another 10 gigawatts of capacity. So when you add it all up, OpenAI's lined up roughly 26 gigawatts of computing infrastructure between Nvidia, AMD, and now Broadcom, an insane level of horsepower aimed squarely at pushing towards superintelligence. Hock Tan mentioned on a podcast with Sam Altman and Greg Brockman that the partnership has actually been in the works for about 18 months. Broadcom's been quietly co-developing these systems, working alongside OpenAI to fine-tune the architecture and deployment strategy. And it makes sense. Broadcom already works with giants like Amazon and Google on similar projects, so they're no strangers to high-performance AI chip design. Broadcom's stock instantly reacted to the news. It shot up more than 9%, almost 10%. After the announcement. The company's already been a major winner in the AI chip boom, with its share price increasing nearly 6-fold since the end of 2022. Just last month, Broadcom revealed a $10 billion custom AI chip order from an unnamed client, though executives clarified on Monday that OpenAI wasn't that particular customer. Still, this deal reinforces Broadcom's position as a powerhouse in AI infrastructure. They're betting big on Ethernet as the backbone for AI data centers, unlike Nvidia's more closed InfiniBand approach. That could help make AI clusters more open, scalable, and power efficient, a direction that's been missing in a lot of the current AI ecosystem. OpenAI's massive infrastructure plans go beyond chips too. They're building data centers across the US, including one in Abilene, Texas, with more facilities coming to New Mexico, Ohio, and other parts of the Midwest. Altman said that the computing power from these Broadcom chips alone, 10 gigawatts, will be a gigantic amount of infrastructure to serve the world's need for advanced intelligence. Meanwhile, analysts are still questioning the scale of OpenAI's financial commitments. Gil Luria from D.A. Davidson pointed out that OpenAI has made commitments approaching $1 trillion, while the company's actual revenue sits around $15 billion. He called the plan ambitious, maybe even fantastical, but acknowledged that OpenAI's intention to design its own chips is the real deal. OpenAI has also been pushing record-breaking growth on the user side. The company now has over 800 million weekly active users across enterprises, small businesses, and developers. So it's not just about power, it's about serving that explosive demand. Altman summed it up by saying that developing their own accelerators adds to the broader ecosystem of partners, all building the capacity required to push the frontier of AI. And Hock Tan, never one to mince words, added, "If you do your own chips, you control your destiny." So yeah, between Nvidia's $100 billion investment, AMD's 6-gigawatt chip deal, and now this 10-gigawatt Broadcom partnership, OpenAI is going all in on building the physical backbone of its AI empire. Whether it's sustainable or not, that's a whole different question. But one thing's clear, OpenAI doesn't just want to train models anymore. It wants to own the entire AI stack, top to bottom. That's it for today. If you're keeping an eye on where AI is heading next, this Broadcom deal just set a new benchmark for what scale really means in 2025. See you in the next one.